When she lost her 2-year-old daughter to Tay-Sachs disease in 2001, she was determined to make something good come from it. Now, 13 years later, her family's experience is the driving force behind launching the Courageous Parents Network.
Courageous Parents Network provides expert guidance and virtual parent-to-parent support to parents of seriously ill children. We teach parents about the value of palliative care. We have videos and content featuring experts such as doctors, social workers, hospital chaplains, pediatric palliative care social workers, talking about critical issues that families deal with. In the ideal situation, they'd have a therapist, they'd be part of a support network, but most parents aren't. They don't either have access to a good therapist or a support network. So we are that virtual support network. We launched only a year ago, and all of our services are delivered over the web. Our resources are all digitally delivered, and we have about 7,800 unique visitors to the site thus far. We haven't done any outreach or marketing. That's a big push for this year and going forward is outreach and marketing.
How did you go from the idea to actually starting the full-fledged business?
So I looked at what I knew, which is the types of things that had helped my husband and me. We received pediatric palliative care. We were in community with a handful, very small handful of other parents with whom we walked the journey. And then I thought to myself, all right, how can I make these resources available to all the parents out there? And I looked at what I knew how to do. I knew how to design and produce websites. I knew how to produce interviews. I knew social media. I knew the web. And I used to have a background also in distance learning. And I put it all together, and I came up with the model of Courageous Parents Network. The site went live, which I feel fortunate about.
What type of nonprofit are you?
We're a 501c3.
Where do you get your funding from?
Thus far, it's been entirely from one donor. It was a 3-year anonymous grant from somebody who understood I wanted to develop a resource for parents whose children were seriously ill with a focus on palliative care. But now, as I am launching Courageous Parents Network to a new level, and we're moving from proof of concept to roll out at a national and international level, we are diversifying our funding to include, obviously, a broad range of individuals as well as corporate and private foundations.
Are you looking for a smaller number of donors with larger funding capacity or a larger number of smaller donors?
It's easier if I can get a smaller number with great capacity. However, if we get 1,000 people giving $20, that's fantastic too.
Is this your full-time job, Blyth?
This is my full-time job. Now it is, yes.
And how do you make money personally?
I build my salary into the budget of the organization, yes.
Over time, what percentage of every dollar raised should go into supporting your operations versus helping parents? There
isn't really a differentiator because you can't support parents if you're not paying for the people to do the work. So I'm not really sure that that there's a real accurate way to split. Without me and without my community manager, we're not reaching the parents, we're not developing the content for the parents. So we don't have any overhead at the moment, we don't have office space, we're working out of our homes. Everything is delivered over the web, and the costs are pretty low. It's mostly staff.
And how do you anticipate you'll stay positive if funding runs a little bit short in the next few months?
I'm working on raising money every day / every week, trying to have meetings with individuals and identify foundations that I can target, and I'm building my board. I've done all of this with a very, very small starter board, but now I'm transitioning my board to be professional, and they're going to help me. Members of my board have experience with fundraising and governance, and through their leadership and my personal mission and drive to help families, I'm confident we can do this.
And the number one concern you have about your business?
So the number one concern I have is that thinking about seriously ill children is difficult for people. How do I get people to pay attention to something that's scary? And I'm working on the messaging. I got a grant from the Social Innovation Forum, which is based here in Boston, to work on messaging and communications for precisely that purpose. I believe we have the message down, looking at the cost of not providing these services. It really is a moral question, so asking people to think about the cost of not supporting families in this situation and asking them to think about something that they've probably never thought of before and don't want to think about. And that's hard.
Blyth, thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity, Greg.
Blyth Lord, the Executive Director of the Courageous Parents Network.
to cut it in the world of dining. Next time on The Language of Business. Watch us online anytime at languageofbusiness.biz.